Greetings, everyone. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. This is a channel in which we are dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music, and my name is Murph. I am the host. So we're back, day 5 now, moving right along, of my 31 favorite rock albums from 1982. The series we're running for the month of October. Okay, so we're on that fifth album now. So moving along, this album I knew was going to make it. I just wasn't sure how far up it would be. I've never owned it, but I've heard it several times. I've had a few friends that owned it, and they would play it once in a while. A couple of tracks on it I'm quite familiar with. A couple other ones I like a lot too. It's a pretty strong and decent album. Of course, came out in 1982. It's the Billy Joel, and the album I think is called the Nylon Curtain. Yeah, so he's had some better albums than this one, and he's had some worse albums than this one, but this one is a good, solid album. It definitely falls into good range as opposed to some of the ones I don't care as much for. But it had to be on this list because it's an album that I've heard quite a bit of over the years. Haven't heard a lot of it in recent years because I don't own it. It's an album I look to own. I have 2 or 3 Billy Joel albums now. There's a whole bunch of them I would like to have, but he's not somebody I see too much of out there when I'm looking around in the used department, and I don't actually know that they have any of his newer stuff or any of his stuff, new CDs of his stuff at the Encore, because I never really actually went through that section and looked. But he's pretty strong. So this album coming in on day 5, of course, means that it's the 27th album on the list. But it made the list, so a bunch of albums didn't make it, so this one could get on. So the album, of course, has Allentown is on this album. That's probably the big track on the album. There's a couple of other albums that are a couple other songs that are quite good as well. That's the one that gained me interest in the album to begin with, and I listened to it a fair bit when it came out. Album is typical Billy Joel, kind of poppy with its serious pop elements, but it has his vocals on it, and his vocals are what make this album, as it does with all of his other albums. And his lyrics are good. They're little stories that he's telling and little life adventures that are going on. Music is pretty solid. I think most of the time the riffs are strong, good, catchy, and memorable. And he also has a little bit of that, a little bit of the soloish stuff going on, but not too much of it, but a little bit. Yeah, and it's a pretty strong album for him, I think. Now, I don't think it's as good as some of the stuff he's done in the past. He had some absolute killer albums in the late 70s. Yeah, definitely. But it definitely ranks in there among the good side as opposed to the not so good side. So there you have it. Today's album in the 5th spot, day 5, in the 27th spot, for the month of October. The series that we're running, 31 albums. My 31 favorite albums from that year, 1982. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I think from this point forward, the albums will jump up quite a notch. You know, there's a couple of ones coming up I still don't have, but starting with the next album, they'll jump up a fair bit. These are albums that I've actually owned at times, or I still own at times. I still own now. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. You don't want to miss any episodes. Hit the notification bell. And if you have any comments about the album, or if you, again, want to rank your album of the day or which one you think would be in this spot for you, then you're welcome to do that as well. And I will see you tomorrow with another episode of my 31 favorite albums from 1982. And have yourself a good evening. Take care and goodbye.